There will come a moment in your life when reason will stand before you, pointing at all the evidence, all the facts, and telling you it is impossible. And yet within you there is a voice whispering, it is already done. Which voice do you listen to? The world you see now is nothing but a reflection of past thoughts, past beliefs, past assumptions. It is not truth. It is merely an echo of what once was. And if you desire to see a new reality, you must not argue with what your senses report. You must defy reason, not with struggle, but with unwavering conviction. To believe in the face of contradiction is the highest form of power. The man who looks at his empty hands but dares to feel the weight of abundance will soon find his hands filled. The woman who stands alone but inwardly embraces the warmth of companionship will soon find herself surrounded by love. Doubt is the only enemy. The moment you entertain the idea that what you want is impossible, you breathe life into failure. But when you hold to your assumption, when you feel it so deeply that the world around you becomes irrelevant, reality has no choice but to conform. Live as if it is done, not in pretense, but in certainty. Walk with the assurance of one who already possesses the thing desired. And when reason cries out against you, smile, for you know a truth that the world does not. Imagination precedes reality. What you believe with unwavering faith will one day stand before you, undeniable and real. The world you see before you is not the source of reality, but merely a reflection of what has already been imagined. Every great structure, invention, and movement that shaped history began first as a thought, an unseen idea held within the mind of one who dared to believe in something greater than the present moment. The senses will tell you what is. Imagination reveals what can be. And it is this unseen realm of thought that holds power far beyond what reason can comprehend. Reason operates within the limits of what has already been proven, bound by facts, logic, and experience. It demands evidence before belief, insisting that only what can be touched, measured, or seen is real. But imagination does not require validation from the world. It creates the world. It moves beyond circumstances and sees possibilities where none seem to exist. It is the very essence of creation itself, shaping the unseen into form, molding the invisible into reality. Consider those who have achieved the impossible. Did they rely on reason? No. They dared to believe in something greater than what their senses reported. The Wright brothers had no proof that a machine could fly, yet they imagined it, persisted in their assumption, and the airplane was born. Scientists, artists, and visionaries throughout history have all shared one common trait. They refused to accept the visible as the only truth. They trusted in their ability to see with the mind's eye what others could not. Imagination is not mere fantasy. It is the blueprint of reality. When you imagine something vividly and consistently, you impress it upon the subconscious mind, which in turn shapes your external world to match your inner state. Every breakthrough in your life begins in this unseen space. If you desire wealth, health, love, or success, you must first see yourself as already possessing it, not as a hopeful dream, but as a certainty. The mind, when disciplined to dwell upon a vision, will find ways beyond reason to bring it into existence. The senses deceive you. They report only the past, the echoes of former thoughts and beliefs. What you see in your bank account, in your relationships, in your physical reality, is nothing but a projection of what has already been assumed to be true. If you wish to change your life, you must look beyond what is and focus entirely on what you desire to be. To do this, you must shut out the external world and turn inward, allowing your imagination to paint a picture more vivid than anything your senses can contradict. There will be moments when reason fights against you, whispering that you are foolish to believe in what has not yet appeared. But reason only knows what has already been manifested. It cannot grasp what is in the process of becoming. Do not be swayed by its limitation. Hold steadfast to your inner vision, no matter how absurd it may seem to those around you. Live in the state of already having that which you seek, and in time it will take physical form. Those who live by reason alone are trapped within the prison of the past. They move through life repeating old patterns, confined by circumstances, believing only in what they can seek. But those who understand the supremacy of imagination walk a different path. They see beyond appearances, shaping reality from within, knowing that the world is but a mirror reflecting their deepest convictions. The unseen is always more real than the seen, because it is from the unseen that the seen emerges. The foundation of every future event, every success, every transformation lies first in the realm of thought. It is only when you fully accept this truth that you unlock the power to change your world. Believe not in what is, but in what can be. Let imagination lead and reality will follow. The world you experience is not separate from you. It is a reflection of your deepest assumptions. Every circumstance, every event, every encounter is drawn into your life based on what you have persistently accepted as truth. Whether you are aware of it or not, you are always assuming something, and those assumptions shape the course of your reality. The secret to transforming your life lies in deliberately choosing and sustaining assumptions that align with the reality you wish to experience. Assumption is not mere wishful thinking. It is the act of mentally and emotionally accepting something as already done. It is living in the conviction that what you desire is not something to be attained in the future, but something that is already yours now. The mind does not distinguish between what is real and what is imagined with full conviction. When you assume a state with unwavering belief, you impress it upon your subconscious mind, and the world must conform to bring about its manifestation. If you assume poverty, lack, or limitation, the world will reflect those conditions back to you, reinforcing the belief that life is hard and success is difficult. If you assume wealth, opportunity, and abundance, life will rearrange itself to match that inner conviction, bringing forth people, events, and circumstances that align with your assumption. This is not magic or coincidence. It is the law of consciousness. Your inner world dictates your outer experience. Many fail because they assume the wrong things. They see obstacles, and instead of assuming their desires are already fulfilled, they assume failure, difficulty, and impossibility. They base their beliefs on what their senses report, reinforcing the same cycle of lack and limitation. But the secret is to assume what you want as if it were already a fact, even when there is no physical evidence to support it. Persistency is key. A fleeting assumption will not create lasting change. It must be a way of being, a state of consciousness that you inhabit with certainty. The moment doubt creeps in, the assumption weakens, and the world reflects that instability. You must hold firm even when external circumstances appear unchanged. The world takes time to catch up with your new state of being, but if you persist, it has no choice but to conform. Think of the feeling of having your wish fulfilled. If you desired wealth, how would you feel knowing that all your needs were met, that abundance was already yours? That feeling is the key. It is not about affirmations or repeated words alone. It is about truly embodying the state, walking through life as if it were already done. When you persist in that feeling, reality bends to match it. Circumstances do not matter. If you assume yourself to be healthy while sickness lingers, do not be discouraged. If you assume yourself to be loved while loneliness remains, do not waver. The outer world is slow to change, but change it must. For assumption creates reality. The moment you stop looking for evidence and simply rest in the knowing that it is done, the process accelerates. Most people make the mistake of assuming based on what they see. They react to the world rather than create from within. But the key to mastery is to assume first and allow the world to catch up. You are not a victim of fate. You are the creator of your reality. Assume wisely, assume persistently, and watch as the unseen becomes seen. The impossible becomes possible, and the life you have longed for unfolds before you. The world you see is nothing more than a mirror, reflecting back to you the assumptions and beliefs you have held in the past. Your circumstances, no matter how fixed they may seem, are not permanent. They are the result of thoughts once entertained, emotions once felt, and states of being once assumed. If you wish to change your life, you must first understand that what you see now is merely the echo of what has already been accepted as true in your mind. To break free, you must learn to ignore the evidence of your senses and focus instead on the unseen reality you wish to create. Most people live as prisoners of their senses. They believe only in what they can see, hear, touch, and measure. If their bank account shows little, they assume lack. If their body shows signs of illness, they assume suffering. If love is absent from their life, they assume loneliness. And in assuming these conditions as real, they unknowingly sustain them. They react to appearances rather than shape them from within. But the secret to transformation lies in refusing to accept what is seen as the ultimate truth. Reality is fluid, not fixed. What you experience today was shaped by yesterday's thoughts, but tomorrow can be reshaped by what you choose to believe now. If you wish to change your life, you must begin by rejecting the limitations your senses impose. You must act as if the world around you is not yet set, as if it is still forming in response to your inner state, because in truth it is. The world you see is not the cause of your experience, it is the effect. The real cause is within you. This is why it is critical to discipline the mind. When circumstances contradict your desires, do not waver. If you seek abundance but face financial struggle, do not allow what you see to shake your belief. If you desire love but encounter rejection, do not accept loneliness as your fate. Instead, hold firmly to the vision of what you want. Assume it is already yours. Feel the joy, the relief, the confidence of having it now, even if your senses suggest otherwise. Doubt is the greatest enemy of manifestation. The moment you give in to the evidence of your senses and accept what is as final, you reinforce the very conditions you wish to escape. But if you persist in your assumption, the world must bend to align with it. This is not wishful thinking, it is the way creation works. Every great achievement, every breakthrough, every success was first imagined and persisted in before it became visible. When you refuse to be moved by what you see, you take control of your destiny. You stop reacting to life and start shaping it. This requires faith, not in something external, but in the power within you to bring forth the unseen. It requires an unshakable commitment to live from the reality you desire, not the one you have inherited from past thoughts. Circumstances are deceptive. They seem solid, but they are always changing. They have no power of their own. They are shadows cast by your inner world, illusions that dissolve the moment you stop feeding them with belief. When you learn to ignore what your senses report and trust in the reality you have chosen within, the external world will eventually conform. Do not wait for proof. Do not seek validation from the outside. Simply assume, persist, and know that what you desire is already on its way. Ignore the evidence of your senses, for they only reflect the past. The moment you fully accept this truth, you will discover that you are no longer at the mercy of life. You are the master of it. Desire in its truest form is not something to be longed for, it is something to be lived. The great secret to transforming your life is to assume that your wish is already fulfilled, and to live from that assumption. This is not pretending or mere daydreaming, it is a conscious act of shifting your state of being. If you desire something, you must embody the feeling of already having it. Walk, talk, and think as if it is done. The world will then have no choice but to conform to your assumption. Most people desire from a place of lack. They wish, they hope, they wait. But as long as they see their desire as something separate from them, something in the future, something yet to come, they reinforce its absence. To truly manifest, you must abandon this mindset and instead assume the state of already being the person who has what they desire. If you want wealth, do not dwell on poverty. If you want love, do not dwell on loneliness. Instead, step into the feeling of already possessing what you seek. The feeling is the key. It is not enough to say you believe. You must feel as if your desire is already yours. How would you move through life if you knew your wish was fulfilled? How would you carry yourself? What emotions would dominate your days? You must begin to embody those feelings now, not later. If you wish to be successful, walk with the quiet confidence of one who already is. If you desire health, feel the energy and vitality of perfect well-being. If you long for love, move through life with the certainty that you are cherished. Doubt is the enemy of creation. The moment you begin to question whether your assumption is real, you step back into the old state of lack. The world may not immediately reflect your new assumption, but that does not mean it is not working. Reality takes time to rearrange itself, just as a seed takes time to grow into a tree. Your job is not to force things to happen, but to remain steadfast in your new state of being. Persist in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, and the outer world will shift accordingly. Many fail because they look for signs before they believe. They check their bank account, their relationships, their surroundings, searching for proof that their assumption is taking shape. But this is a mistake. The world reflects your state of consciousness, not the other way around. If you need external proof before you believe, you are still living in the old state of lack. The only proof you need is the inner knowing that it's already done. Living in the end means completely surrendering to the assumption that your desire is yours now. There is no room for trying, no space for effort. The moment you try, you admit separation between yourself and your wish. Instead, you must rest in the certainty that it is already accomplished. Imagine it vividly, feel it deeply. Let it become so real in your mind that it no longer feels like a future event, but a present reality. When you truly live in the everything changes. Your actions become effortless. Your thoughts align naturally with your new reality. You no longer seek, you simply express what you already know to be true. The world, ever obedient to the law of consciousness, will shift to match your assumption. Opportunities will arise, people will appear, and circumstances will unfold in ways you never could have planned. This is the power of living in the end. You do not wait for your dream to manifest. You become it. Now, walk as the person who already has what they desire. Think from the reality you wish to create, and let the world mirror back the fulfillment of your assumption. It is already yours. Now live as if you know it. Doubt is the silent thief of dreams. It creeps in unnoticed, whispering reasons why your desires cannot manifest, why your efforts will be in vain, why the reality you wish to create is impossible. The moment you entertain doubt, you give it power. You breathe life into failure by allowing uncertainty to take root in your consciousness. Manifestation is not a process of struggle or force. It is a process of unwavering faith. Faith is the bridge between imagination and reality, and without it, your desires remain nothing more than fleeting thoughts. Most people do not fail because their desires are unreachable. They fail because they waver. One moment they believe, the next they question. They allow their senses to dictate their faith, looking to the outside world for confirmation before fully committing to their vision. But reality does not work this way. The external world is merely a reflection of the internal. If you wait for proof before you believe, you will never receive it. You must first believe without evidence, without reassurance, without validation from the world around you. Only then will the unseen become seen. Doubt and faith cannot coexist. The moment you begin to question whether your manifestation is possible, you weaken its foundation. You allow the old reality, the one you wish to escape, to tighten its grip on you. If you plant a seed and then dig it up every day to check if it is growing, you kill it before it has a chance to take root. Your desires are no different. They require unwavering belief, nurtured in the soil of certainty. Faith is not blind hope. It is not wishful thinking. It is an inner conviction so strong that nothing in the external world can shake it. When you truly believe in your manifestation, doubt becomes irrelevant. You do not concern yourself with how or when it will happen. You simply know that it will. Just as you do not question whether the sun will rise tomorrow, you must hold the same certainty about your desires. The most powerful manifestations come from those who refuse to entertain opposing thoughts. They do not let setbacks discourage them. They do not allow temporary circumstances to dictate their belief. They know that reality is fluid, that what exists today is nothing more than the result of past thinking, and that a new reality is already forming in response to their current assumptions. They do not need to see immediate change to trust in the process. Doubt weakens the energy of creation. When you waver, when you go back and forth between belief and uncertainty, you send mixed signals to the universe. You plant the seed of your desire, but then you uproot it with contradictory thoughts. The universe responds not to fleeting wishes, but to deep, sustained conviction. If you believe one moment and doubt the next, you remain in a state of limbo, never fully stepping into the reality you wish to create. To eliminate doubt, you must discipline your mind. You must refuse to entertain thoughts that contradict your desire. The moment a doubtful thought arises, replace it with certainty. Do not argue with doubt, do not entertain it, do not let it linger. Shift your focus back to the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Remind yourself that your desire is already yours in the unseen realm, and that the world is merely catching up to your assumption. Faith is the key that unlocks all doors. It is the force that transforms imagination into reality. The greatest minds, the most successful individuals, and those who have mastered the art of creation all share one thing in common. They do not doubt. They persist in their vision even when the world tells them otherwise. They trust in the unseen, knowing that the evidence will follow. If you wish to manifest anything in life, eliminate doubt completely. Stand firm in your belief. Hold onto your vision with unshakable certainty. Do not let the illusion of time or temporary setbacks deceive you. What you desire is already yours, if only you will believe. The world you see around you is nothing more than a mirror, reflecting back the state of your inner world. Every circumstance, every relationship, every opportunity or obstacle is simply an outpicturing of your consciousness. The great mistake most people make is believing that change must happen externally first, that they must see different conditions before they can feel differently. But this is not how reality works. External changes always follow internal shifts. When you believe something deeply within, the world has no choice but to conform to your belief. Most people live reactively. They let circumstances dictate their thoughts and emotions, believing that their happiness, success, or fulfillment depends on something outside of them. If their bank account is low, they feel lack. If a relationship ends, they feel unworthy. If an opportunity is denied, they feel defeated. They allow the outer world to control their inner state, never realizing that the process works the other way around. The moment you shift within, changing your beliefs, assumptions, and self-concept, the world will rearrange itself accordingly. The key to transformation is understanding that you do not need to fight against external conditions. Struggle is unnecessary. You do not need to chase, force, or manipulate the world to get what you desire. You only need to change within. If you see yourself as abundant, abundance will manifest. If you see yourself as loved, love will find you. If you see yourself as successful, success will unfold naturally. Your only job is to embody the state of the person who already has what they desire. The world cannot help but reflect what you consistently assume to be true. Your dominant thoughts, feelings, and beliefs shape the reality you experience. If you continuously dwell on what is missing, you reinforce its absence. If you constantly worry, you attract more situations to worry about. But if you shift your focus, if you begin to feel, think, and act as though your desires are already fulfilled, you will find that life starts to reflect those new assumptions. This is why belief is so powerful. What you believe about yourself and your life becomes the blueprint that reality follows. If you believe you are unworthy, the world will mirror back experiences that confirm your unworthiness. But the moment you decide to see yourself differently, the mirror must change. It has no choice. The world does not create your inner state. Your inner state creates the world. One of the greatest obstacles to mastering this principle is impatience. Many people begin to shift their inner world, but when the outer world does not immediately change, they revert to their old way of thinking. They check for signs, they doubt, they question whether their efforts are working, but the mirror takes time to reflect the new image. If you plant a seed, you do not expect it to sprout instantly. You trust that it is growing beneath the surface. The same is true for your manifestations. The moment you shift within, reality begins to reorganize itself. Your only job is to persist in the new state, knowing that the outer world will inevitably conform. This is not about forcing yourself to believe something unreal. It is about recognizing that your inner world is the only true reality, and the outer world is just a delayed reflection of it. When you internalize this truth, you take control of your life. You stop reacting to circumstances and start creating them. You stop waiting for change and become the change. The most powerful thing you can do is assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled and refuse to waver. Do not look to the world for validation. Look within. See yourself as the person you wish to be, feel it deeply, and persist in that state. The world will follow, because it has no choice. It is simply reflecting you. Everything you desire already exists within you. The world is not something you must struggle against, chase after, or force into submission. It is simply a mirror, reflecting back the contents of your mind. When you understand this, you stop reacting to circumstances and start creating them. You no longer wait for change, you embody change. You shift your inner state first, and the outer world follows effortlessly. Doubt is the only thing that stands between you and your desires. The moment you waver, you delay your manifestation. But when you hold unwavering faith, when you assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled and persist in it, reality bends to your belief. Your imagination is greater than reason, and what you consistently assume will always harden into fact. Your senses may try to deceive you, showing you a world that contradicts your desire, but you must. External conditions are just echoes of past thoughts. They are not final, they are not permanent. Ignore them. Live in the end. Walk, think, and feel as if your desire is already yours, because the moment you do, it is. This is the secret to true creation. Assume it, believe it, persist in it, and the world will conform. The power is within you, it always has been. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, there's a moment in life when you realize that not everyone is rooting for you. Some smiles hide envy, and some words conceal daggers. As we step into 2025, let me tell you this: your silence can be your greatest shield, and your discernment can be your sharpest sword. Let's talk about 7 things you should never share with anyone this year. When you share your dreams too soon, you invite opinions, doubts, and distractions. Keep your plans close to your chest. Work quietly and let your results do the talking. Money has a way of making people act strangely. Whether you're climbing out of a hole or sitting on a fortune, keep your finances private. The world doesn't need to know. They say move in silence and execute loudly. Let them see the action, not the blueprint. Keep the element of surprise on your side. Every family has its battles, but not every battle needs an audience. Protect the sanctity of your home by keeping its struggles private. People are quick to exploit vulnerabilities. If you're facing fears or flaws, face them in private or share them with someone who's earned your trust. Love thrives in privacy. Don't let the outside world meddle in your union. Guard your relationship like the precious bond it is. If you're helping others, do it quietly. True giving doesn't need applause. The impact you create is your reward. 2025 is your year to rise, but you must rise wisely. Not everyone deserves a front row seat to your journey. Remember, this silence is not weakness, it's strategy. Privacy is not isolation, it's empowerment. So step forward boldly, but speak cautiously. Keep these 7 things close and watch how your life transforms. In a world where oversharing has become the norm, there is an unparalleled strength in keeping certain aspects of your life private. Privacy isn't just a luxury, it's a necessity. It's a fortress that safeguards your dreams, ambitions, and vulnerabilities from the probing eyes of the world. When you hold your cards close to your chest, you maintain a level of control that others can't penetrate. The less people know about you, the less power they have to influence, manipulate, or sabotage your journey. Think about it. How many times have you shared a plan only to feel the sting of unsolicited advice, doubt, or outright negativity? Sometimes even the most well-meaning individuals can project their fears or insecurities onto your vision, diluting your confidence. It's not that people are inherently malicious, it's that they see the world through their own lens, a lens that may not align with your clarity of purpose. By keeping your intentions to yourself, you create a protective bubble where your ideas can thrive without interference. Privacy also cultivates mystery, and mystery is a powerful tool. When people don't know your next move, they can't anticipate it. They can't prepare to block it, nor can they undermine it. Instead, they are left guessing, and in that guessing, you gain the upper hand. It's not about secrecy for the sake of secrecy, it's about strategy. Every great achiever understands the importance of timing and discretion. They unveil their plans at the right moment, ensuring maximum impact while minimizing the chances of opposition. Privacy nurtures your energy. When you refrain from sharing everything, you conserve the mental and emotional resources often spent explaining, justifying, or defending your decisions. This saved energy can be redirected toward action and execution, the very elements that bring your goals to life. Sharing prematurely can dissipate your focus, leaving you drained before you've even started. Silence, on the other hand, sharpens your resolve. It allows you to stay rooted in your purpose without the noise of external opinions clouding your path. In a world where social media encourages constant exposure, the act of keeping something to yourself can feel radical. We live in an age where validation is sought through likes, comments, and shares, but true validation comes from within. The satisfaction of working quietly toward a goal and achieving it without fanfare is unmatched. It's a reminder that your worth isn't tied to public acknowledgement, but to the substance of your efforts and results. Privacy also safeguards your relationships. Not every detail of your personal life needs to be a public spectacle. When you share too much about your struggles, triumphs, or even your partnerships, you open the door for opinions, judgments, and interference. People may start to feel entitled to comment on your life even when they have no real stake in it. By keeping certain aspects of your relationships private, you protect their sanctity. You allow them to grow organically, free from the weight of external scrutiny. Beyond relationships, privacy shields your vulnerabilities. Every person has fears, doubts, and insecurities. When you broadcast these to the world, you expose yourself to exploitation. Not everyone will use that information kindly, some may weaponize it against you. But when you keep those parts of yourself private, you maintain a sense of security. You can work through your challenges on your own terms, seeking support only from those who have earned your trust. There's also an element of dignity in privacy. It speaks to your self-respect and your understanding of boundaries. When you choose not to share every detail of your life, you're signaling that your life is valuable, that it's not up for public consumption. This self-contained approach earns respect, as it demonstrates maturity and self-assurance. People are naturally drawn to those who exude confidence and restraint, qualities that are amplified by the art of keeping certain things private. Privacy is a form of freedom. It frees you from the expectations and judgments of others. It allows you to live authentically, guided by your own intuition and values rather than the shifting opinions of the crowd. In that freedom lies true power, the power to shape your life as you see fit, unencumbered by the noise of external influences. So as you navigate the complexities of life, remember the strength in silence. Cherish the mysteries you keep, for they are your treasures. The less people know, the less they can control. And in that space of privacy, you find clarity, focus, and the unyielding power to be the master of your own destiny. Dreams are fragile creations, delicate like a newly budding flower. They emerge from within, often in moments of quiet reflection, sparked by a yearning for something greater. When a dream is born, it's not yet strong enough to endure the storms of doubt, criticism, or skepticism. It needs nurturing, care, and time to grow into something resilient. The reality, however, is that not everyone will see your vision as you do. Not everyone will understand it, respect it, or support it, and that's why you must protect your dreams fiercely. Your vision is deeply personal. It's a reflection of your aspirations, values, and purpose. It's something only you can fully comprehend because it's been shaped by your unique experiences and inner desires. Yet, when shared too openly or too soon, it becomes vulnerable. People, even those with good intentions, may not grasp its significance. They might unintentionally diminish it with careless words, questioning its practicality or viability. They might overlay their own fears onto your dreams, asking, "Are you sure this is realistic, or what if it doesn't work out?" These seeds of doubt, once planted, can grow into obstacles that hinder your progress. It's important to remember that others are not obligated to see your vision clearly. They are not walking your path or carrying the same passion in their hearts. What feels like a life-changing mission to you might seem trivial or unattainable to them. That's not a reflection of your dream's value, but of their limited perspective. People often project their insecurities onto others, not out of malice, but because they lack the courage to chase their own dreams. If they can't envision greatness for themselves, how can they recognize it in your aspirations? Protecting your vision requires discernment. Not everyone deserves a front row seat to your journey. Share your dreams selectively with people who have proven themselves trustworthy and supportive. Look for those who uplift and encourage rather than criticize and tear down. Even then, keep in mind that your dream's most important guardian is you. It's your responsibility to shelter it from negativity and distractions until it's strong enough to stand on its own. Keeping your vision private also allows it to develop without interference. When you share too soon, you open the door to external influences that can alter the original purity of your idea. Everyone has an opinion, and those opinions can cloud your judgment. You might find yourself second-guessing your instincts or trying to please others by adjusting your plans. This can dilute the essence of your vision, making it less authentic and aligned with your true purpose. Time is a crucial factor in nurturing your dreams. They need patience and quiet effort to grow. Just as a seed planted in the soil needs time to sprout and bloom, your vision needs time to evolve. During this phase, it's vulnerable to external conditions, much like a seedling exposed to harsh weather. The more you protect it, the more it can flourish without unnecessary setbacks. Work quietly, diligently, and with unwavering focus. Let your actions, not your words, pave the way toward success. Another reason to safeguard your dreams is the competitive nature of the world. There are those who, upon hearing your ideas, might seek to replicate or undermine them. Not everyone will respect your originality. Some may try to discredit your efforts or take shortcuts to achieve what you're working hard to build. By keeping your vision under wraps, you eliminate the risk of it being prematurely revealed, misunderstood, or stolen. Protecting your dreams also fosters a deeper connection to them. When you keep them close to your heart, they become a source of personal motivation and inspiration. You're not seeking external validation or approval, you're driven by an inner fire that's uniquely yours. This self-reliance strengthens your resolve and keeps you aligned with your purpose even when challenges arise. The beauty of this approach is that when the time is right, your dream will speak for itself. It will no longer be a delicate idea needing protection, but a tangible reality that stands as a testament to your dedication. By then, it won't matter who doubted you or failed to understand your vision. What will matter is that you believed in yourself enough to see it through. Protecting your vision isn't about secrecy, it's about strategy. It's about recognizing the value of your dreams and treating them with the care they deserve. It's about staying true to yourself and refusing to let the noise of the world drown out the voice of your intuition. Big dreams are delicate, but with the right balance of courage, patience, and discretion, they can grow into something extraordinary. Energy is one of the most valuable currencies you possess. It fuels your actions, shapes your mindset, and determines the quality of your life. Unlike money, energy cannot simply be earned back once spent. Every ounce of emotional, mental, and physical energy you expend leaves a mark on your overall well-being. This is why guarding your energy, your time, focus, and emotions is essential. It's not just about protecting yourself, it's about directing your energy toward the things that truly matter. Time and energy are intertwined. Every moment you spend is a transaction, an exchange of your finite time for something, an experience, a task, or an interaction. The question is, are these transactions worthy of the energy you're investing? Too often, people pour their energy into things that drain them, be it toxic relationships, meaningless arguments, or pursuits that offer little return. Recognizing the value of your energy means being intentional about how and where you spend it. Think of your energy as a treasure chest. You wouldn't leave your treasures unguarded, accessible to anyone who walks by, would you? The same principle applies to your time and emotions. Every time you allow negativity, distractions, or unworthy causes to consume your energy, you're giving away pieces of yourself that could be better spent on building your dreams, nurturing meaningful connections, or simply enjoying life. Guarding your energy begins with understanding its limits. You are not an endless reservoir. Your energy requires renewal and care. When you overextend yourself, giving too much of your time to others or spreading yourself thin across too many commitments, you run the risk of burnout. This depletion affects your ability to think clearly, make decisions, and maintain emotional stability. Protecting your energy means saying no when necessary, setting boundaries, and prioritizing your well-being. Emotions, in particular, are a critical part of your energy. They shape how you perceive the world and how you interact with others. But emotions can also be hijacked. When you let anger, frustration, or resentment consume you, you're spending valuable emotional energy on situations that often don't deserve it. For instance, holding grudges or engaging in arguments might feel justified in the moment, but they rarely lead to meaningful outcomes. Instead, they drain you and leave you with less energy for things that bring you joy or progress. Protecting your energy also means being mindful of the people you allow into your life. Not everyone deserves access to your inner world. Some individuals lift you up, energize you, and inspire you to be your best self. Others drain your energy with negativity, criticism, or selfishness. It's important to recognize these dynamics and adjust accordingly. This might mean limiting your time with certain people, or in some cases, cutting ties altogether. Your energy is too precious to waste on relationships that don't serve you. Distractions are another significant drain on your energy. In today's world, it's easy to lose hours scrolling through social media, consuming news that provokes anxiety, or engaging in trivial activities that offer no real value. These distractions may seem harmless, but they chip away at your focus and leave you feeling scattered. Being intentional about your time means eliminating distractions and directing your energy toward activities that align with your goals and values. Whether it's pursuing a passion, building a career, or spending quality time with loved ones, these are the things that truly enrich your life. One of the most profound ways to protect your energy is by practicing self-care. This isn't just about physical health. Though that's important, it's about creating space for rest, reflection, and renewal. Whether it's through meditation, exercise, or simply taking time to be alone, these moments of self-care replenish your energy and prepare you to face life's challenges. They allow you to show up fully for the things that matter, rather than dragging yourself through the motions. Treating your energy as currency means valuing yourself enough to invest wisely. It's about understanding that every decision, every action, and every interaction has a cost. When you spend your energy on things that align with your purpose, you create a life that is fulfilling and meaningful. When you waste it on negativity, distractions, or unworthy causes, you deplete yourself and limit your potential. So guard your time and emotions like treasures, because that's exactly what they are. Be discerning about where you invest your energy, and don't be afraid to pull back when something doesn't feel right. The more intentional you are about preserving your energy, the more you'll have to spend on the people, passions, and pursuits that truly matter. And in that, you'll find not just success, but a sense of peace and fulfillment that is priceless. Silence is one of the most underrated and underused tools of power. In a world filled with noise, constant chatter, and relentless distractions, silence can be transformative. It's in the quiet moments, the pauses between actions, that clarity emerges. When you learn to embrace silence, you unlock the ability to focus, reflect, and channel your energy toward meaningful achievements. Speaking less and listening more creates space for deeper understanding. In conversation, silence allows you to truly hear what others are saying, not just their words, but the underlying emotions and intentions. Many people feel the need to fill silences with words, fearing that quiet moments might signal discomfort or weakness. However, silence can be a position of strength. When you resist the urge to speak unnecessarily, you cultivate an air of mystery and confidence. Others may lean in closer, valuing your words more when you do choose to speak. Silence is also a tool for self-preservation. Words once spoken cannot be taken back. They can be misinterpreted, twisted, or used against you. By speaking less, you reduce the risk of giving away too much, whether it's your thoughts, plans, or vulnerabilities. People who overshare often find themselves entangled in unnecessary conflicts or drained by trying to justify or explain themselves. On the other hand, those who practice discretion and let their actions speak louder than words maintain their energy and focus. In moments of silence, you find clarity. The noise of the external world can easily cloud your judgment, making it difficult to distinguish between what truly matters and what's merely a distraction. When you step back and embrace stillness, your mind has the opportunity to process thoughts, organize priorities, and make sense of complex situations. Silence acts as a filter, allowing you to separate the essential from the trivial. This clarity extends to your goals and aspirations. When you quiet the noise around you, it becomes easier to connect with your inner self and understand what you truly want. Too often, people are influenced by external opinions, following paths that don't align with their authentic desires. In silence, you can reconnect with your core values and recalibrate your direction. You can hear the whispers of your intuition, guiding you toward decisions that resonate with your purpose. Silence isn't just about the absence of noise, it's also about the presence of intentionality. When you choose to be silent, you're not just refraining from speaking, you're making a deliberate choice to conserve your energy and focus it where it matters most. This intentionality fosters discipline, which is essential for achieving success. It's easy to get caught up in the habit of reacting to everything, but silence teaches you to respond thoughtfully instead of impulsively. In professional settings, silence can be a game changer. Leaders who master the power of silence often command respect and authority. They don't rush to fill the room with their opinions, but instead listen carefully, assess the situation, and speak with precision. Their words carry weight because they are deliberate and thoughtful. By contrast, those who talk excessively can come across as unprepared or insecure. Silence, when used strategically, can amplify your influence. Silence cultivates resilience. Life is filled with challenges, and not every battle needs to be fought with words. Sometimes the most powerful response is no response at all. Silence in the face of negativity, criticism, or provocation demonstrates strength and composure. It sends a message that you're in control, unshaken by external forces. This restraint can diffuse conflict and protect your peace. Silence also creates room for growth. In the quiet moments, you have the opportunity to learn and absorb new knowledge. By listening more and talking less, you open yourself up to insights and perspectives you might have missed otherwise. This continuous learning fuels your personal and professional development, allowing you to achieve more over time. Silence fosters deeper connections. When you truly listen to others without interrupting or rushing to respond, you show respect and empathy. This builds trust and strengthens bonds. Conversely, speaking too much or dominating conversations can push people away, creating barriers instead of bridges. Silence invites intimacy, allowing space for meaningful exchanges and mutual understanding. Silence is a form of power that doesn't rely on external validation. It's a quiet confidence that comes from knowing you don't need to prove yourself with words. Your actions, focus, and results become your voice. This kind of power is unshakable because it's rooted in self-assurance and clarity. In a noisy world, silence stands out. It's a rare and valuable skill that allows you to navigate life with intention and purpose. By speaking less and embracing quiet moments, you gain clarity, build resilience, and amplify your ability to achieve. Silence is not weakness, it's strength in its purest form. Trust is one of the most precious commodities in human relationships, yet it's also one of the easiest to misplace. It's the foundation upon which strong connections are built, but it's not something that should be handed out freely. Trust, like respect, must be earned. Being discerning about who you allow into your inner circle isn't just a matter of caution, it's an act of self-preservation and wisdom. At the heart of trust lies vulnerability. When you trust someone, you expose parts of yourself, your fears, dreams, weaknesses, and strengths. This openness makes trust a double-edged sword in the right hands. It can nurture growth and connection, but in the wrong hands, it can lead to hurt and betrayal. This is why it's crucial to be intentional about who you place your trust in. Not everyone deserves access to your inner world. There are people who will take your trust and cherish it, using it to support and uplift you. But there are also those who may exploit it for their own gain, whether intentionally or out of carelessness. Learning to differentiate between the two types requires observation, patience, and a willingness to set boundaries. Trust isn't built overnight. It develops gradually through consistent actions and behaviors that align with words. Someone who genuinely values your trust will demonstrate integrity and reliability over time. They'll show up when they say they will, keep their promises, and respect your boundaries. These seemingly small actions are the building blocks of trust, and they reveal a person's character far more than grand gestures or empty words ever could. Being discerning about trust doesn't mean closing yourself off from the world. It means recognizing that your energy and emotional resources are limited and precious. Allowing just anyone into your inner circle dilutes the quality of those connections and opens you up to unnecessary risks. By being selective, you create space for relationships that are meaningful and reciprocal, where trust is both given and earned. One of the most important aspects of discerning trust is listening to your intuition. Often your instincts can pick up on subtle cues that your conscious mind might overlook. If something feels off about a person or situation, it's worth paying attention to those feelings. Intuition isn't about being paranoid, it's about being attuned to the signals that help protect you from harm. At the same time, it's important to understand that trust is not static, it can be lost or broken. Even someone you've trusted for years can make mistakes or betray your confidence. While forgiveness can be a part of healing, rebuilding trust takes time and effort from both parties. It's a process that requires accountability, transparency, and a willingness to address the root causes of the breach. Being discerning also means recognizing that trust is not a one-size-fits-all concept. You may trust different people with different aspects of your life. For instance, you might trust a friend with your emotional struggles, but not with sensitive financial matters. Understanding these distinctions helps you manage expectations and avoid unnecessary disappointments. It's equally vital to be aware of how you extend trust in professional settings. In work environments, misplaced trust can have significant consequences, from damaged reputations to missed opportunities. Trusting someone in this context requires not only assessing their skills and reliability, but also their intentions and alignment with shared goals. When you're careful about who you collaborate with, you create a foundation for success rather than vulnerability. Another critical aspect of discerning trust is understanding your own boundaries. Trusting someone doesn't mean giving them unlimited access to every part of your life. It means allowing them into certain spaces where they've proven themselves worthy. Clear boundaries protect both you and the relationship, ensuring that trust is nurtured rather than strained. Discernment shouldn't turn into cynicism. It's easy to become jaded after experiencing betrayal or disappointment, but it's important to remember that not everyone will hurt or deceive you. Being cautious doesn't mean expecting the worst from everyone. It means allowing people to show you who they are before you invest deeply in them. Trust is a gift, not an obligation. It's something you offer to those who've demonstrated they can handle it with care. By being selective about who you let into your inner circle, you're not only protecting yourself, but also elevating the quality of your relationships. Trusting wisely ensures that your emotional energy is spent on connections that enrich your life rather than deplete it. In a world where trust is often taken for granted, choosing to be discerning is an act of strength and self-respect. It's about valuing yourself enough to only surround yourself with people who value you in return. Trust isn't about being perfect or expecting perfection from others. It's about finding those who are willing to grow with you, honor your vulnerabilities, and stand by you in both good times and bad. When you choose to trust wisely, you build a life filled with authentic, meaningful connections that stand the test of time. Your personal growth is a deeply individual journey, one that unfolds uniquely for you in its own time and space. It's a sacred process of transformation, marked by challenges, breakthroughs, and quiet victories. While it can be tempting to share your progress with others, especially when you're proud of your accomplishments or excited about what's to come, keeping your growth private is often the wisest choice. Prematurely unveiling your journey can create unnecessary distractions, invite judgment, and even derail the momentum you've worked so hard to build. When you embark on a path of personal or professional growth, it's not just about setting goals, it's about developing the mindset, discipline, and resilience required to achieve them. This process demands focus and dedication, both of which can be easily disrupted when you allow too many external voices into your journey. Sharing your plans or progress too soon opens the door to opinions, critiques, and unsolicited advice that may not align with your vision. Even well-meaning input can plant seeds of doubt, shifting your focus away from the work itself and toward justifying or explaining your decisions to others. Momentum in growth is a fragile thing. It's the cumulative effect of consistent effort, driven by intrinsic motivation and a clear sense of purpose. When you expose your journey to others before it's fully developed, you risk diluting that momentum. External validation, or the lack thereof, can create an artificial sense of accomplishment or, conversely, discourage you from continuing. Growth thrives in the quiet spaces where you can experiment, learn, and evolve without fear of judgment or comparison. Comparison is another pitfall of sharing your journey prematurely. When you put your progress out into the world, it inevitably invites comparison to others. Someone might question your methods, highlight their own achievements, or offer unsolicited feedback that makes you second-guess yourself. This can lead to feelings of inadequacy or the temptation to alter your path to match someone else's. True growth is deeply personal and should be guided by your own values and aspirations, not by the expectations or experiences of others. Keeping your growth private also allows you to preserve the authenticity of your journey. When you're not performing for an audience, you're free to focus solely on the process itself. You can make mistakes, pivot, and refine your approach without the added pressure of external scrutiny. This freedom fosters creativity and innovation, enabling you to discover solutions and insights that might have been stifled in a more public setting. There's also a psychological benefit to maintaining privacy during your growth process. By keeping your plans and progress to yourself, you reinforce your own accountability. You're not relying on external praise or recognition to keep you motivated. Instead, you're driven by a deeper, more sustainable source of inspiration. This self-reliance builds confidence and resilience, qualities that will serve you long after you've achieved your current goals. Not everyone in your life will understand or support your journey. People bring their own biases, insecurities, and limitations into their perceptions of your growth. Some may feel threatened by your progress, while others may unintentionally project their fears onto you. Sharing your journey with such individuals can lead to unnecessary conflict or self-doubt. By keeping your growth private, you protect yourself from these potential negative influences and ensure that your energy remains focused on what truly matters. Privacy doesn't mean isolation, though. It's important to have a trusted circle of mentors, friends, or confidants who can provide guidance and encouragement. The key is to be selective about who you share your journey with. Choose individuals who genuinely support your growth, respect your boundaries, and offer constructive feedback when needed. These relationships can be a source of strength and inspiration without compromising your momentum. As your growth becomes more tangible, there will be a time and place to share your accomplishments. By then, you'll be standing on a solid foundation, confident in the work you've done and the person you've become. Sharing from this place of strength not only inspires others, but also ensures that you're presenting a fully realized vision of your journey, one that can withstand the scrutiny and opinions of the outside world. Keeping your growth private is an act of self-respect. It's about honoring the delicate process of transformation and giving yourself the space to evolve without interference. Your journey is yours, and it deserves the protection and care required to reach its fullest potential. In the quiet of your efforts, you'll find the strength to grow, the clarity to stay true to your path, and the momentum to achieve what you once only dreamed possible. Let your results speak for themselves when the time is right, and until then, guard your growth with the same dedication you bring to nurturing it. The message is simple yet profound: protect what's sacred to you. Whether it's your dreams, your energy, your trust, or your personal growth, these aspects of your life are treasures that deserve respect and care. By choosing discretion, you shield yourself from unnecessary distractions, negativity, and judgment, allowing your efforts to flourish in their own time. Privacy isn't about isolation, it's about preservation. It's about knowing what to share, when to share, and with whom, so you stay true to your vision and purpose. The power of silence, the strength of boundaries, and the wisdom of discernment are your allies on the path to success. Guard your energy, protect your journey, and let your results speak louder than words ever could. The life you're building deserves nothing less than your full attention and unwavering dedication. Thank you for taking the time to reflect on these truths. May they empower you to move forward with clarity, strength, and purpose. Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about power not in your fists or in your voice, but in your silence. The kind of power that doesn't shout or beg, but simply is. No contact isn't just a tactic, it's a declaration of your value. A silent reminder that you don't chase, you attract. And today I'm going to give you 5 undeniable signs that your silence is speaking volumes. When you stop making yourself available, you create a void. And let me tell you something about human nature. We don't notice the air we breathe until it's gone. Suddenly the messages come through. The questions start to flow. Are you okay? What's going on? They feel the shift. And now they're wondering why the silence feels so loud. The most powerful thing you can do is stand tall in your own solitude. When you stop reaching out, you find strength you didn't know you had. You begin to shine, and people notice that glow. That's the magic of self-respect. It's like a magnet pulling the right things toward you while repelling what no longer serves you. Here's the truth: your absence forces them to confront themselves. Maybe they start posting more. Maybe they suddenly act like they're doing better than ever. But deep down, they're trying to convince themselves they're not affected. Don't be fooled by the show. Your silence is making waves. No contact isn't just about them, it's about you. When you step away, you stop feeding the cycle of hurt and confusion. The pain starts to lose its grip on you. And in its place, peace. That's when you know you're winning, when your heart beats steady and your mind is clear. And then, one day it happens. The power shifts. They start chasing what they once took for granted. They realize what you knew all along: your presence was a privilege. And now, they're the ones wondering if they still have a chance. Silence isn't weakness, it's strength in its purest form. When you go no contact, you're telling the world, I am worth more than this. And the world, whether it's a person, an opportunity, or a blessing, responds accordingly. True transformation often begins in the most unlikely of places: silence. In a world consumed by constant chatter, distractions, and the incessant hum of notifications, silence can seem like an unfamiliar, even uncomfortable void. Yet, it is within that stillness that profound change takes root. Silence doesn't beg for attention, it doesn't demand acknowledgement. It simply exists, holding within it the power to shift perspectives, heal wounds, and reveal truths that were previously obscured by the noise. When the noise stops, the message begins. Imagine a still lake, untouched by ripples, reflecting the world around it with perfect clarity. This is what silence offers us: a chance to see things as they truly are, not as they appear in the chaos of daily life. It is within this reflective space that transformation occurs. When we are no longer consumed by the distractions of the external world, we are forced to turn inward, to face the thoughts and feelings we often bury beneath the surface. In silence, there is no escaping ourselves. We confront our fears, our doubts, and our desires, and through that confrontation, we begin to grow. Silence also teaches us patience. In the stillness, there is no rush, no urgency to fill the void with words or actions. This pause allows us to observe rather than react, to understand rather than judge. When we stop trying to force answers, they often come to us unbidden, like a whisper carried on the wind. True transformation doesn't happen in an instant, it unfolds gradually, like the blooming of a flower. Silence provides the fertile ground for this process, giving us the space we need to listen, not just to others, but to ourselves. Silence can feel intimidating. It strips away the distractions that shield us from our own thoughts and emotions. It is in the quiet moments that we hear the doubts we've been avoiding, the dreams we've neglected, and the truths we've been afraid to face. But this confrontation is not something to fear, it is something to embrace. For it is only when we face these truths that we can begin to transform them. Silence also has a way of amplifying the important things. When the noise ceases, we begin to notice the subtleties: the way our breath flows in and out, the rhythm of our heartbeat, the quiet hum of life all around us. This heightened awareness brings with it a sense of connection, a reminder that we are part of something larger than ourselves. It is in these moments of quiet reflection that we often find clarity, purpose, and direction. Silence can be equally transformative. Words are powerful, but they are not always necessary. Sometimes the greatest understanding comes not from what is said, but from what is left unsaid. In silence, we learn to truly listen, not just to the words of others, but to the emotions behind them. We discover the depth of connection that exists beyond language, a connection that is felt rather than spoken. In silence, we also reclaim our power. It is easy to lose ourselves in the noise of others' opinions, expectations, and judgments. But when we step back into the quiet, we rediscover our own voice. We remember that we are not defined by the chatter around us, but by the truth within us. Silence allows us to break free from the external pressures that often dictate our lives, giving us the freedom to live authentically and intentionally. Silence is not an absence, it is a presence, a powerful, transformative presence that invites us to slow down, to reflect, and to grow. It is a space where healing begins, where clarity emerges, and where the noise of the world fades away, leaving only what truly matters. So the next time you find yourself surrounded by noise, take a moment to step into the silence. Let it guide you, transform you, and remind you of the strength that lies within. For it is in the quiet moments, when the noise stops, that the most profound messages begin to speak. Time and space have an extraordinary ability to reshape our understanding of the world. When we step away from a situation, a relationship, or even our own thoughts, we create the opportunity to see things with a clarity that isn't accessible in the heat of the moment. Distance is not merely a separation, it is a powerful tool for reflection and growth. It allows us to strip away the emotions, assumptions, and biases that cloud our judgment, revealing the truth that often lies hidden beneath the surface. When we are too close to something, our perspective becomes limited. Think of it as standing inches away from a painting. At that proximity, the details blur, and we lose sight of the bigger picture. Every brushstroke seems chaotic, and it's impossible to appreciate the masterpiece as a whole. But when we take a few steps back, the colors blend harmoniously, the shapes come to life, and the purpose behind every stroke becomes clear. This is what distance offers us in life, the ability to step back and see the whole story, not just the fragmented pieces. Time works hand in hand with distance. In the moment, emotions often run high. Anger, sadness, or even excitement can cloud our ability to think rationally. But as time passes, those emotions begin to settle. What once felt overwhelming starts to fade, and we gain a more balanced perspective. It's like muddy water in a glass. If you keep stirring it, it remains murky. But if you let it sit, the sediment settles to the bottom, and the water becomes clear. Time allows our thoughts and feelings to settle, giving us the clarity we need to understand situations more fully. Distance also provides the space for self-reflection. When we remove ourselves from a situation, we are no longer consumed by the dynamics of the moment. Instead, we have the opportunity to examine our own role, our choices, and our reactions. This introspection is invaluable. It's in these moments of solitude that we often uncover truths about ourselves, truths that are difficult to see when we are entangled in the complexities of everyday life. We may realize that we were holding on to something out of fear, or that we were reacting from a place of insecurity rather than understanding. One of the greatest gifts of distance is its ability to reveal what truly matters. In the moment, it's easy to get caught up in trivialities or to assign importance to things that don't deserve it. But when we step away, we can more easily discern between what is essential and what is not. Distance has a way of highlighting what adds value to our lives and what drains it. It shows us where to invest our energy and where to let go. In particular, benefit from this perspective. Sometimes we hold on to people or situations out of habit, obligation, or fear of change, but when we create space, we can evaluate those relationships more objectively. We can ask ourselves whether they are truly serving us, whether they align with our values and goals, and whether they bring out the best in us. Distance often brings clarity, and with that clarity comes the courage to make choices that align with our highest good. Distance is not just about stepping away from others, it's also about stepping closer to ourselves. In the quiet moments that distance provides, we reconnect with who we are. We rediscover our values, our passions, and our dreams. We begin to see ourselves not as we think others perceive us, but as we truly are. This self-awareness is the foundation of personal growth and empowerment. Distance and time are not just about letting go, they are about gaining perspective. They are about creating a space where the noise fades and the truth becomes audible. When we allow ourselves this space, we can see things as they truly are, not as they appeared in the chaos of the moment. And in that clarity, we find the wisdom and strength to move forward with purpose and intention. Growth often requires a step away from the familiar, a deliberate separation from the constant noise of interaction and routine. It is in this space, away from the distractions and demands of everyday connections, that clarity emerges. The absence of constant engagement isn't a void to fear, it's a fertile ground where transformation begins to take root. When we are surrounded by constant interaction, whether with people, situations, or even our own thoughts, it can feel as though we are caught in a whirlwind. There's little time to pause, reflect, or assess. The continual exchanges of energy and emotions can blur our judgment, leaving us reactive rather than intentional. But when separation occurs, whether by choice or circumstance, it creates the stillness needed for perspective to take shape. In this stillness, the mind quiets and the heart begins to speak truths that were previously drowned out by the noise. Separation offers us the gift of introspection. When we are removed from the constant pull of relationships or responsibilities, we can finally turn inward. This isn't about isolation or loneliness, it's about connection with oneself. In the space of separation, we begin to recognize patterns in our behavior and thoughts. We see clearly the habits that serve us and the ones that hinder our progress. This self-awareness becomes the foundation for meaningful growth. True growth is rarely visible in the moment. It unfolds gradually, like a seed buried in the soil. At first, it seems as though nothing is happening. But beneath the surface, in the darkness and solitude, the seed is transforming. It is breaking open, stretching its roots, and preparing to reach for the light. Similarly, in the absence of constant interaction, we too undergo a transformation that isn't always immediately apparent. The silence and separation allow us to gather strength, focus, and clarity, setting the stage for profound change. Separation also challenges us to confront the aspects of ourselves that we might otherwise avoid. When we are constantly surrounded by others, it's easy to project our struggles outward, blaming circumstances or relationships for our frustrations. But in the space of separation, there's no one else to distract us from ourselves. This can be uncomfortable, but it is also incredibly powerful. It forces us to face our fears, insecurities, and doubts. And in doing so, we learn to overcome them. We discover resilience we didn't know we had and a deeper understanding of who we are. One of the most profound realizations that comes from separation is the recognition of what truly matters. Without the constant input of others' opinions or the pressures of external expectations, we can evaluate our priorities with greater clarity. We begin to see which relationships, goals, and values align with our authentic selves and which ones we've been holding on to out of habit or obligation. This clarity is a compass guiding us toward a life that is more intentional and fulfilling. In relationships, separation often provides the perspective needed to appreciate the connection fully. When we step away, we gain a better understanding of the dynamics at play. We see the strengths and weaknesses of the bond, and we have the opportunity to decide whether it nurtures our growth or holds us back. Sometimes separation leads to reconciliation and renewal, and other times it reveals the need to move on. Either way, it is an essential part of the process. Growth thrives in separation because it allows us to return to ourselves. It reminds us that we are whole, even when we are alone. It teaches us that our worth is not dependent on constant interaction or external validation. In the absence of others, we learn to nurture our own needs, pursue our own dreams, and build our own strength. Separation is not the end of the story, it's the beginning of a new chapter. It's the space where clarity is born, where intentions are sharpened, and where growth becomes undeniable. In this space, we are not running away from life, we are preparing ourselves to engage with it more fully, more authentically, and with greater purpose. It is here, in the quiet and solitude, that we become the person we are meant to be. Actions often speak louder than words. And when your absence begins to leave its mark, the actions of others can reveal a profound truth: they miss you. It's in this space of separation, where your presence is no longer taken for granted, that regret often starts to take root. People begin to reflect on what they had, what they lost, and most importantly, the role you played in their lives. This shift is not immediate, but when it comes, it is unmistakable. In the day-to-day routine of life, it's easy for people to overlook what they have. Familiarity can dull appreciation, and the comfort of knowing someone will always be there can lead to complacency. But absence creates a void, and in that void, clarity emerges. The things once taken for granted become glaringly obvious in their absence. Your kindness, support, and presence, which were once background noise in the chaos of life, suddenly become front and center in their thoughts. Regret is not just a feeling, it's a catalyst for change. When someone begins to feel the weight of your absence, their behavior often shifts in ways that reveal their inner turmoil. They might start reaching out more frequently, trying to bridge the gap that has grown between you. These attempts to reconnect are often subtle at first: a casual message, an unexpected call, or an effort to be present in spaces where they know you might be. These actions, though seemingly small, are laden with meaning. They reflect an acknowledgement of your value and a desire to restore what was lost. Sometimes regret manifests in more profound ways. People might begin to change their behavior, striving to show that they've learned from past mistakes. They may take steps to address the issues that led to the separation, whether it's working on their communication skills, showing more gratitude, or making an effort to prioritize the relationship. These actions are often driven by an understanding that your absence has taught them something invaluable: your worth cannot be replaced, and losing you was not something they want to risk again. It's important to recognize that these actions are not always immediate. Regret often takes time to surface. Initially, people might deny the impact of your absence, convincing themselves that life goes on as usual. But over time, the reality sets in. They begin to notice the quiet spaces where your laughter once filled the room, the unanswered questions that only you could answer, and the comfort that only your presence could provide. This growing awareness can be a humbling experience, one that forces them to confront their own shortcomings and the ways they may have failed to appreciate you. Your absence also holds a mirror to their lives, forcing them to examine their priorities and values. They may start to question why they allowed the relationship to falter and whether they were truly present and engaged when they had the chance. These reflections can be painful, but they are also necessary for growth. Regret, in this context, becomes a teacher, guiding them toward greater self-awareness and a deeper understanding of what truly matters. While it's natural to feel a sense of validation when someone's actions begin to reflect regret, it's important to approach these moments with clarity and discernment. Regret alone is not enough to rebuild a relationship or heal old wounds. Actions must be consistent, sincere, and aligned with genuine growth. It's not about accepting someone back into your life simply because they realize they've made a mistake. It's about evaluating whether their actions demonstrate a commitment to change and a renewed respect for what you bring to their life. Your worth is not determined by someone else's realization of it. The absence that highlights your value to others is a testament to the unique and irreplaceable qualities you bring to the table. Whether their regret leads to reconciliation or simply serves as a lesson for them, it is ultimately a reflection of your impact. Your presence left a mark, and your absence underscores its significance. When someone's actions begin to reflect regret, it serves as a reminder of the power of your presence and the strength of your absence. It's a testament to your value, a validation of the unique role you played, and a sign that your worth is undeniable even when you're not there to remind them. Whether you choose to let them back into your life or continue on your path, their regret becomes a moment of clarity for both them and you. It's in these moments that the true weight of your absence and the depth of your worth is fully realized. Inner peace is a force unlike any other. It doesn't shout or demand attention, yet it commands respect and admiration. When you cultivate a sense of calm and self-assurance within yourself, it changes everything, not just how you see the world, but how the world responds to you. Strength, rooted in peace, becomes a magnetic energy that draws people and opportunities to your door without effort or pursuit. This magnetism starts with the quiet confidence that comes from knowing who you are and being at ease with yourself. It is not about arrogance or superiority, it is about a deep connection to your inner truth. When you are at peace with yourself, you stop seeking external validation. You no longer feel the need to prove your worth to others or chase after recognition. Instead, you radiate a quiet strength that others can sense, even from a distance. Inner peace creates a natural allure because it is so rare in a world full of chaos and noise. Many people are consumed by their own insecurities, fears, and desires. They are constantly chasing something, whether it's approval, success, or love, and this restless energy can be exhausting to those around them. But when someone encounters a person who is grounded, composed, and secure in themselves, it is like finding an oasis in a desert. People are drawn to that serenity because it offers them a glimpse of what they too crave, a sense of wholeness and calm. This magnetism doesn't just attract people, it also opens doors to opportunities. When you are at peace with yourself, you make decisions from a place of clarity rather than desperation. You are not swayed by fear or the need to please others. Instead, you trust your intuition and follow the path that feels right for you. This alignment with your inner truth creates a ripple effect. The right opportunities seem to find you because your energy resonates with what you truly desire. You no longer have to chase success, it begins to flow to you naturally. Your interactions with others also change when you are centered in peace. People can sense when someone is genuinely present and not caught up in their own anxieties or agendas. This presence makes you a safe and comforting person to be around. Others feel heard and valued in your company because you are not projecting your own fears or insecurities onto them. This creates deeper and more meaningful connections, further enhancing your influence and the respect you garner. Inner peace is also a form of quiet rebellion against the pressures of the world. Society often equates success with constant hustle, loud ambition, and relentless pursuit. But true strength lies in the ability to step back, breathe, and trust the process. When you embody this strength, you become a living example of an alternative way of being, one that prioritizes balance, authenticity, and fulfillment over superficial achievement. This authenticity is magnetic because it is real, and people are naturally drawn to what is genuine. The journey to inner peace is not always easy. It requires self-reflection, patience, and a willingness to let go of what no longer serves you. It involves facing your fears, forgiving yourself for past mistakes, and embracing your imperfections. But as you do this inner work, you begin to notice a shift. The things that once seemed so important, chasing approval, comparing yourself to others, or proving your worth, start to lose their grip on you. In their place comes a quiet assurance that you are enough, just as you are. This shift doesn't go unnoticed by the world around you. People begin to treat you differently, not because you demand it, but because your energy commands it. When you carry yourself with calm confidence, others naturally respond with respect and admiration. They are drawn to your strength, not because you seek their attention, but because you don't need it. This independence is incredibly attractive, and it inspires others to find that same sense of peace within themselves. Inner peace is not about withdrawing from the world, it is about engaging with it on your own terms. It gives you the freedom to say no to what doesn't align with your values and to embrace what truly fulfills you. It allows you to move through life with grace, even in the face of challenges. And as you do so, you become a beacon for others, a source of light and inspiration that they can't help but be drawn to. Inner peace is the foundation for a magnetic life. It empowers you to live authentically, connect deeply, and attract what is meant for you without effort or chase. It is not something you find outside yourself, it is something you cultivate within. And once you do, the world around you begins to reflect the strength and serenity that you carry in your heart. The urge to act impulsively is deeply ingrained in human nature. When something feels uncertain or unresolved, the instinct is to bridge the gap, to reach out, to seek answers, or to assert control. However, this reaction often stems from fear or insecurity rather than strength. Acting in haste rarely leads to the outcomes we desire. Instead, it often complicates matters, pushing what we want further away or creating unnecessary tension. Patience, on the other hand, offers a different path, one of restraint, clarity, and purpose. Patience is not passive, it is a form of active discipline. It requires strength to sit with discomfort, to resist the pull of immediate action, and to trust that everything will unfold in its time. This strength comes from an inner assurance that you don't need to force anything to happen. When you hold back from reaching out in moments of uncertainty, you send a powerful message not just to others but to yourself. You affirm that you are in control of your emotions and choices, that you are not governed by fleeting impulses, and that you value the bigger picture over immediate gratification. When you practice patience, you create space for perspective. Impulsive actions are often short-sighted, driven by temporary emotions that cloud your judgment. In contrast, patience allows you to step back, assess the situation with clarity, and respond from a place of wisdom. It gives you the time to understand what truly matters and what doesn't, and it helps you prioritize your long-term well-being over momentary relief. This shift in perspective often leads to better decisions, stronger relationships, and a deeper sense of fulfillment. Resisting the urge to reach out also shifts the dynamic in your relationships. When you act impulsively, you risk coming across as needy or dependent, which can create an imbalance. However, when you demonstrate patience and restraint, you show that you respect yourself and the boundaries of others. This self-respect is magnetic. It commands attention and earns respect in return. People are drawn to those who exude calm confidence, those who don't chase but instead allow things to come to them naturally. Patience also cultivates resilience. Each time you resist the urge to act impulsively, you strengthen your ability to endure discomfort and uncertainty. This resilience is a powerful asset in all areas of life, from personal relationships to professional endeavors. It equips you to handle challenges with grace, to navigate setbacks without losing your composure, and to remain focused on your goals even in the face of adversity. Over time, this resilience becomes a cornerstone of your strength, setting you apart as someone who can weather any storm with dignity and resolve. The power of patience lies not only in what it prevents, but also in what it creates. By resisting impulsive actions, you create room for growth, understanding, and deeper connection. You allow others to come to their own realizations, to take responsibility for their actions, and to meet you halfway. You give situations the time they need to evolve naturally without interference or pressure. And in doing so, you often find that the outcomes are far more meaningful and enduring than anything you could have forced into being. Practicing patience also teaches you the value of timing. In life, timing is often everything. Acting too soon can disrupt the natural flow of events, while waiting for the right moment can lead to extraordinary results. Patience allows you to align with this flow, to trust that everything has its season, and to act when the time is right, not a moment sooner or later. This alignment with timing not only enhances your effectiveness, but also deepens your sense of peace and fulfillment. The power of patience lies in its quiet certainty. It is the confidence to know that you don't need to chase, force, or control, that everything meant for you will find its way to you in time. It is the discipline to hold your ground, to remain calm in the face of uncertainty, and to trust the process of life. When you embrace patience, you prove to yourself and to the world that true strength lies not in impulsive action, but in the steady, unwavering resolve to wait for what is right. In the journey of silence, patience, and self-discovery, we uncover the profound power of stepping back to allow life to unfold on its own terms. Whether it's through the strength of silence, the clarity of perspective, the growth born in separation, or the magnetic energy of inner peace, each principle reinforces the truth that discipline and trust in oneself are the ultimate victories. Resisting the pull of impulsive action shows the world, and more importantly yourself, that you are grounded, resilient, and in control of your destiny. As you embody these truths, you create a life that is not only aligned with your highest self, but also a source of inspiration to others. Remember, everything meant for you will come in its time. Trust the process, honor your growth, and let your inner strength guide you forward. Thank you for listening, and may your path be filled with wisdom, clarity, and peace. Ladies and gentlemen, let me start by saying this: there is no man, no force on this earth that can resist a woman who knows her worth. When you understand the power of these two words, you'll command attention, respect, and devotion. These words aren't magic, they're a declaration, a boundary, a statement of independence that says, I will not settle for less than I deserve. When you say them, they must carry weight. They must be unshakable, like the roots of an ancient tree, planted firmly in the soil of your self-respect. See, the problem isn't that men don't listen, it's that you don't speak your truth. You shrink, you compromise, you bend over backwards, thinking that's the way to win love. But let me tell you, real men aren't attracted to weakness. They're drawn to strength. And strength isn't loud or boastful. It's quiet. It's steady. It's a calm refusal to be anything other than exactly who you are. When you say no more, you're not begging, pleading, or explaining. You're drawing a line in the sand that cannot and will not be crossed. Let me be clear, this isn't about arrogance or ego. It's about dignity. It's about looking a man in the eye and saying, I'm not afraid to walk away if you don't rise to meet me. Because when you respect yourself, the world will follow suit. So sisters, don't chase. Don't beg. Don't twist yourself into knots trying to be what you think he wants. Instead, stand tall. Know that you are enough. And when the time comes, don't be afraid to utter those two words that will change everything: no more. With those words, you don't just command respect, you demand it. And that, my friends, is how you eat any man you want. The way you carry yourself speaks louder than any words you could ever say. Long before you utter a single syllable, the room has already decided how it will respond to you. Presence is not something you can fake or manufacture. It's an energy, a force, an unspoken language that commands attention and respect. It's the silent confidence that walks into a room ahead of you, declaring, I am here, without needing to make a sound. Those two words, whatever they may be, are powerless if not backed by a presence that demands admiration and attention. Think of the most captivating individuals you've ever encountered. Was it their beauty that struck you? Their wealth? Their talent? Perhaps. But more often than not, it was something intangible. It was the way they held their head high, the way they moved with purpose, the way their very stillness seemed to radiate strength. That's the power of presence. It's not about trying to be noticed, it's about embodying a self-assurance so profound that being noticed becomes inevitable. Presence begins within. It's rooted in how you see yourself before anyone else does. If you walk into a room doubting your worth, that doubt will bleed into every interaction. People will pick up on it, consciously or unconsciously, and respond accordingly. But if you step into that same room with the quiet certainty that you belong, that you are enough, everything changes. People are drawn to confidence because it is rare and because it makes them feel secure. When you exude self-assurance, you give others permission to see you as you see yourself. But presence is not arrogance. It's not about being the loudest voice or the flashiest dresser. True presence is understated. It doesn't need to announce itself. It's the calm in the storm, the unshakable foundation upon which everything else is built. It's in the way you listen more than you speak, the way you meet someone's gaze without flinching, the way you hold yourself as though you already know your value, and need no one else to confirm it. Body language plays a crucial role in cultivating presence. How you stand, sit, and move tells a story about how you feel about yourself. Slouched shoulders, fidgeting hands, or a downcast gaze speak of insecurity and uncertainty. On the other hand, standing tall, moving with intention, and making eye contact convey confidence and composure. It's not just about what you say, it's about how you say it with your posture, your gestures, your very being. Silence, too, is a part of presence. There is immense power in the ability to be comfortable in silence. People who feel the need to fill every pause with words often betray their own nervousness. But when you can sit quietly, letting the moment breathe, you project a sense of control and self-assuredness. Silence can speak volumes, conveying a confidence that no amount of chatter ever could. Presence also requires authenticity. You can't fake it for long, and trying to do so will only exhaust you. People are incredibly perceptive. They can sense when someone is putting on an act. The most magnetic individuals are those who are unapologetically themselves. They don't try to conform to what others expect or want them to be. Instead, they embrace their quirks, their flaws, their uniqueness. This authenticity is what makes them compelling. It's what makes their presence feel real and grounded. Developing presence takes practice. It's not something that happens overnight. It requires a commitment to knowing yourself, to valuing yourself, and to presenting yourself in a way that aligns with that inner truth. It's about recognizing that you don't need to prove anything to anyone. Your worth isn't up for negotiation, and your presence isn't contingent on someone else's validation. When you carry yourself with presence, everything you say and do gains weight. Your words are taken seriously, your actions are respected, and your boundaries are honored. This is why presence is so essential. It gives power to everything else. Without it, even the most eloquent words can fall flat, and the strongest arguments can be ignored. But with it, even the simplest statements can carry the force of a command. So before you speak those two words, whatever they may be, focus first on cultivating a presence that will make those words impossible to ignore. Walk into every room as though you belong there, not because you're trying to impress, but because you've already impressed yourself. Stand tall, move with intention, and let your energy do the talking. When you do, those two words will become more than just a statement. They'll become a declaration backed by the undeniable force of your presence. And that, more than anything, is what will leave a lasting impact. Words are among the most powerful tools we possess. They can inspire nations, heal wounds, or destroy relationships with a single utterance. Yet, their power is not inherent. Words themselves are nothing more than sounds or symbols until they are charged with meaning. It is the belief behind them, the conviction with which they are spoken, that transforms them into forces capable of moving hearts and minds. Without that inner certainty, even the most profound statements fall flat. When you speak, the world doesn't just listen to your words, it listens to your heart, your energy, your authenticity. Speaking with conviction means more than just raising your voice or choosing the right vocabulary. It's about embodying what you say so fully that your words and your being are one and the same. It's about standing firm in what you believe, so that every sentence carries the weight of your truth. People can sense when someone is speaking from a place of doubt or insincerity. Words spoken without belief are like arrows without tips. They may fly, but they fail to penetrate. On the other hand, words delivered with conviction cut through noise, leaving a mark that lingers long after they've been spoken. To speak with conviction, you must first believe in what you're saying. That belief comes from knowing yourself, knowing your values, your principles, and your truth. When your words stem from this foundation, they carry an authenticity that cannot be faked. You don't need to overcompensate or dress your statements in flowery language. Simplicity becomes powerful when it's spoken with absolute certainty. A quiet, assured tone can have more impact than the loudest shout when it comes from someone who truly believes in what they're saying. Conviction also requires emotional alignment. It's not just about knowing the right thing to say, it's about feeling it deeply. People are emotional beings. They respond not only to logic but to the energy behind the words. If your emotions and your words are in harmony, your message becomes irresistible. Think of great orators, leaders, or even close friends who've inspired you. Their words resonated because they came from a place of deep emotional connection to what they were expressing. Their conviction wasn't just intellectual, it was visceral. Conviction doesn't mean stubbornness or an unwillingness to listen. Speaking with conviction is not about dominating a conversation or imposing your views on others. It's about presenting your truth in a way that invites others to engage with it. Conviction is confident, but it's also respectful. It doesn't shout down dissent, it holds steady in the face of it. When you speak with conviction, you don't need to defend yourself with aggression or defensiveness. Your belief in your words is enough. Your body and voice are also essential tools in conveying conviction. How you say something is often just as important as what you say. A steady tone, deliberate pacing, and confident posture all communicate that you mean what you're saying. Hesitations, nervous laughter, or looking away as you speak can undermine even the strongest words. Practice aligning your physical presence with your message. Stand tall, make eye contact, and use your voice as an instrument to convey not just words but meaning. Speaking with conviction also means being willing to stand alone if necessary. Conviction often requires courage. There will be times when what you have to say is unpopular or challenges the status quo. In those moments, it's easy to falter, to soften your stance, or to remain silent. But true conviction means staying true to your beliefs, even when it's uncomfortable. It's about valuing your truth over the fear of judgment. When you stand firm in what you believe, others will respect you, even if they don't agree with you. One of the most remarkable aspects of conviction is its contagiousness. When you speak with genuine belief, you invite others to believe too. Your words have the power to ignite something in others, to awaken possibilities they hadn't considered. Conviction inspires trust because it signals that you're not merely speaking for the sake of speaking, you're offering something real, something worth considering. People are drawn to certainty in a world full of ambiguity. Your conviction can become a guiding light for those who are unsure. Conviction is not something you can force. It grows from practice and experience. It's built through moments of doubt and failure, where you've had to reaffirm what you stand for. Each time you choose to speak your truth, even when it's difficult, your conviction deepens. Over time, it becomes second nature, an unshakable foundation that strengthens every word you speak. When you speak with conviction, you don't just communicate, you create. You shape perceptions, inspire actions, and leave a legacy. Your words become more than sounds, they become a force that moves the world. So when you speak, let every word come from the core of who you are. Let your belief in what you say transform your message into something unforgettable. In doing so, you'll not only be heard, you'll be remembered. Understanding the mind of a man isn't about manipulation or trying to control his actions. It's about seeking genuine connection through insight into what drives him, what he values, and what he fears. Men, like all humans, are complex beings shaped by experiences, expectations, and inner desires. To truly connect with and understand them, you must approach with empathy, self-respect, and a willingness to see beyond the surface. This isn't a game of power. It's about building a bridge of understanding that aligns his values with your own self-worth. Men often value respect deeply, sometimes even above love. Respect, to a man, is more than just admiration. It's a sense of being seen and acknowledged for who he is and what he stands for. This doesn't mean agreeing with everything he says or does, but it does mean recognizing his efforts, dreams, and contributions without diminishing them. When a man feels respected, he opens up in ways that reveal his true nature. Respect creates a safe space where he can express vulnerability, a quality that society often teaches him to suppress. Respect must be mutual. This is where your self-worth becomes essential. If you sacrifice your boundaries or compromise your values to gain his respect or attention, the foundation becomes unstable. True understanding starts with valuing yourself. When you know your worth, you communicate it without needing to say a word. Men are naturally drawn to women who carry themselves with confidence and self-assurance. It's not about arrogance, it's about holding yourself to a standard that invites him to rise to meet you. Men also value trust, but trust isn't just about fidelity, it's about emotional security. A man needs to feel that he can be himself without fear of judgment or ridicule. This doesn't mean you should excuse harmful behavior, but it does mean creating an environment where he can be honest without fear of losing your respect. Trust is built over time through consistent actions and open communication. If a man feels safe enough to show his flaws and share his fears, you've tapped into a part of him that few others may see. It's equally important to understand that men often communicate differently than women. Where women may be more inclined to express feelings through words, men may do so through actions. A man's silence doesn't always mean disinterest or detachment sometimes. It's his way of processing emotions or finding solutions. Patience and attentiveness are crucial here. Instead of jumping to conclusions, observe his actions and listen when he's ready to speak. Understanding his communication style can prevent misunderstandings and deepen your connection. Another key to understanding men is recognizing what motivates them. Men often derive a sense of identity and purpose from their ability to provide, achieve, or protect. This doesn't necessarily mean financial provision. It can also mean offering emotional support or physical security. A man wants to feel needed, but not in a way that diminishes his partner's independence. It's about balance, letting him know his contributions matter without losing your own strength and autonomy. Acknowledging his need for autonomy is another essential aspect. Men value their independence and often need space to recharge, reflect, or pursue their goals. This isn't a sign of rejection, it's part of how many men maintain balance in their lives. Giving a man the freedom to be himself, while maintaining your own individuality, creates a dynamic where both of you can grow together without feeling constrained. Understanding this need for space shows that you respect his boundaries and trust the foundation of your relationship. On a deeper level, men crave connection just as much as women do, though they may express it differently. Beneath the surface, many men fear failure, inadequacy, or not being enough. When you understand this, you can approach interactions with compassion rather than frustration. Encouraging a man during his moments of doubt, reminding him of his strengths, and being a steady presence in his life can create a bond that is unbreakable. But remember, this support must be reciprocal. If he doesn't offer the same understanding and encouragement in return, the relationship becomes one-sided, and your worth must guide you to reassess. Understanding the mind of a man starts with understanding yourself. When you know your values, boundaries, and goals, you create a foundation that can't be shaken. From this place of strength, you can engage with him not as someone trying to fix or change him, but as an equal who seeks connection and understanding. Men respect and cherish women who are unapologetically themselves because it challenges them to bring their best selves to the table. This is not about bending yourself to fit his needs or expectations. It's about aligning what he values with the unshakable truth of your self-worth. When you approach a man from a place of understanding and confidence, you create a dynamic where both of you can thrive. It's not manipulation, it's connection. And that connection, built on mutual respect and understanding, is what lasts. Confidence is a force that radiates from within, shaping how others perceive you, and more importantly, how you perceive yourself. It's not about being loud or overbearing, but about standing firm in your identity, values, and purpose. Confidence over conformity means resisting the urge to change who you are to fit someone else's expectations or ideals. It means choosing authenticity over approval, strength over submission, and self-respect over shallow acceptance. Too often, people fall into the trap of conforming to what they think others want. They suppress their individuality, silence their opinions, and reshape their behavior to fit a mold that doesn't belong to them. While this may win temporary acceptance, it comes at the cost of self-worth. The truth is, trying to be someone you're not is exhausting and unsustainable. It creates a facade that may attract attention, but it will never inspire genuine respect or admiration. Confidence begins with knowing who you are and what you stand for. This self-awareness is the foundation of all authentic connections. When you are confident, you don't need to seek validation from others because you carry an unshakable belief in your worth. You know that you are enough, just as you are. This belief frees you from the need to conform to societal pressures or personal expectations that don't align with your true self. Being confident doesn't mean being perfect. In fact, it means embracing your imperfections and owning your flaws. Confidence is about accepting all parts of yourself, your strengths, weaknesses, successes, and failures. When you stop trying to hide or fix everything you think is wrong with you, you free yourself from the constant need to seek approval. Instead, you project authenticity, which is far more attractive and inspiring than any facade of perfection. The power of confidence lies in its ability to set boundaries. When you know your worth, you won't settle for less than you deserve. Whether in relationships, career, or life in general, you'll have the courage to say no to situations and people that don't honor your values. Conformity often stems from a fear of rejection, but confidence reminds you that rejection is not the end of the world. It's simply a redirection towards something better suited to your true self. Confidence over conformity also means standing firm in your beliefs and choices, even when they go against the grain. It's easy to follow the crowd, to agree with popular opinions, or to do what's expected of you. But confidence requires courage, the courage to be different, to speak your truth, and to live authentically. This courage can be intimidating to others, but it's also what makes you unforgettable. People are drawn to those who are unapologetically themselves because it challenges them to do the same. True confidence isn't about dominating others or proving your superiority. It's about quiet assurance, a calm and steady belief in your abilities and purpose. This type of confidence doesn't shout for attention, it simply exists, unshaken by external opinions or circumstances. It's the kind of confidence that says, I know who I am, and I'm not afraid to show it. Confidence is magnetic because it's rare. In a world where so many people conform to fit in, those who dare to be themselves stand out effortlessly. They don't chase approval because they don't need it. Instead, they inspire respect and admiration simply by being who they are. This authenticity is what makes confidence so powerful. It's not about impressing others, but about expressing your true self. Confidence requires maintenance. It's not a one-time achievement, but an ongoing process of self-discovery and growth. Life will challenge your confidence, testing your resolve and pushing you to question yourself. In these moments, it's crucial to reconnect with your inner truth. Remind yourself of your strengths, revisit your values, and reaffirm your worth. Confidence is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. Choosing confidence over conformity also means embracing vulnerability. Confidence isn't about pretending you have it all figured out. It's about being honest about your journey. It's about showing up as you are, flaws and all, and trusting that you are enough. Vulnerability is not a weakness, it's a testament to your strength and authenticity. When you allow yourself to be seen fully, you inspire others to do the same. Confidence over conformity is about liberation. It's about freeing yourself from the need to fit into boxes that were never meant for you. It's about living a life that feels true to who you are, rather than one dictated by the expectations of others. When you choose confidence, you choose yourself. And when you choose yourself, you become a force to be reckoned with, someone who commands respect, inspires change, and leaves a lasting impact simply by being authentic. The power of your presence, your voice, and your actions comes from your authenticity. Confidence isn't just about how you look or what you achieve, it's about who you are and how deeply you believe in yourself. When you stand in your truth, the world takes notice. You don't need to conform to earn approval. Your confidence is more than enough. And with that unshakable self-assurance, you can face any challenge, win any heart, and achieve any dream. Scarcity is a powerful force in human psychology. It shapes how people perceive value and dictates how they prioritize their attention and efforts. What's easily available is often taken for granted, while what feels rare or elusive becomes the focus of desire. This principle applies to relationships, opportunities, and nearly every aspect of life. When you master the art of creating scarcity, you elevate your worth in the eyes of others, making yourself a treasure to be earned rather than something freely available to all. The first step in embodying scarcity is recognizing your intrinsic value. You are not just anyone, you are unique with qualities, experiences, and strengths that no one else possesses. But if you don't treat yourself like something special, why should anyone else? Making yourself a mystery starts with holding yourself to a standard that demands respect. This doesn't mean being aloof or unkind, it means being selective about how you share your time, energy, and attention. Being scarce doesn't mean playing games or intentionally making yourself unavailable in a manipulative way. Instead, it's about prioritizing your well-being and recognizing that not everyone deserves access to you. Your time and energy are finite resources, and how you allocate them sends a message about your worth. When you spread yourself too thin or make yourself overly accessible, people may begin to undervalue your presence. But when you set boundaries and choose carefully who gets to be part of your life, you project confidence and self-respect. Part of creating scarcity lies in the art of mystery. Mystery captivates because it leaves people wanting to know more. It's the intrigue of the unknown that fuels curiosity and desire. Being a mystery doesn't mean hiding who you are, but rather sharing yourself in layers. Don't reveal everything about yourself all at once. Let others earn the privilege of knowing you deeply. This gradual unveiling creates a sense of discovery and keeps the connection dynamic and exciting. Scarcity also means knowing when to step back. Overexposure can dilute your impact. When you're constantly available, whether in conversations, social settings, or relationships, your presence can lose its novelty. By occasionally stepping away and giving others the space to miss you, you allow your absence to speak as powerfully as your presence. This doesn't mean disappearing entirely, but rather finding a balance that keeps interactions meaningful and purposeful. Another crucial aspect of scarcity is cultivating your independence. People are drawn to those who have their own lives, passions, and goals. When you are self-sufficient and focused on your growth, you naturally become more desirable. Independence sends the message that you are not reliant on others for your happiness or validation, which in turn makes people value their connection with you even more. It's a paradox. The less you seem to need others, the more they want to be around you. Scarcity doesn't mean rejecting vulnerability. In fact, vulnerability, when shared wisely, can deepen connections and create lasting bonds. The key is to be intentional about who you allow to see your vulnerable side. Not everyone is deserving of your full trust, and choosing carefully who gets to witness your authenticity only amplifies its value. When you share your deeper self selectively, it reinforces the idea that your inner world is a rare and precious gift. The concept of scarcity also applies to the way you communicate. Words, when used sparingly and thoughtfully, carry more weight. If you're always quick to respond, always explaining, or always available, your words can lose their impact. But when you speak with intention, when your words carry meaning and aren't offered frivolously, people are more likely to listen and value what you say. Similarly, actions that are deliberate and purposeful resonate more deeply than those done without thought. One of the most powerful ways to embody scarcity is by staying focused on your journey. People are naturally drawn to those who are driven by their own purpose. When you're dedicated to your growth, passions, and goals, you have magnetic energy that's hard to ignore. You become the kind of person others want to be around, not because you're chasing them, but because you're chasing something greater. This focus on yourself reinforces the idea that your time and attention are valuable and must be earned. Scarcity is not about being cold, distant, or unapproachable. It's about balance, knowing when to give and when to withhold, when to connect and when to step back. It's about valuing yourself so much that others can't help but value you too. It's about creating a dynamic where your presence feels like a privilege, not a given. Scarcity breeds desire because it transforms the ordinary into the extraordinary. When people see that you are not easily swayed, that you hold yourself to a higher standard, and that your time and attention are precious, they begin to see you in a new light. You become someone worth pursuing, worth cherishing, and worth holding on to. And that's the kind of power that changes how the world responds to you. The word no is one of the simplest yet most transformative tools a woman can wield in her life, particularly in relationships. When spoken with conviction and clarity, it carries immense power. And when paired with more, as in no more, it becomes a declaration of self-worth, a boundary drawn in the sand, and a command for respect that cannot be ignored. These two words can shift the dynamics of any relationship, whether romantic, professional, or platonic, because they signal the end of compromise where it undermines dignity and the beginning of standing in your truth. At its core, no more is an act of reclaiming agency. Too often, women are conditioned to be accommodating, to put others' needs ahead of their own, or to avoid conflict at the expense of their own well-being. Saying no more breaks that cycle. It's a refusal to accept mistreatment, neglect, or anything less than what aligns with one's values and self-respect. It's not about being confrontational or combative. It's about asserting that you matter, that your voice matters, and that your boundaries will no longer be crossed. Setting boundaries is an act of self-love, and no more is the ultimate expression of those boundaries. Boundaries protect your emotional, mental, and physical well-being. They're not about keeping people out, but about ensuring that those who are allowed in treat you with care and respect. Without boundaries, relationships can become draining, one-sided, or even toxic. No more draws a clear line, signaling that you will no longer tolerate behavior that diminishes your worth. This phrase also commands respect in a way that few other words can. Respect is not something that can be begged for or demanded without merit. It is earned. However, the act of firmly stating no more inherently earns respect because it demonstrates strength, self-awareness, and the courage to stand up for yourself. Even if the other person doesn't immediately appreciate or agree with your stance, they cannot ignore the resolve it takes to say it. No more shifts the power dynamic in any relationship. In situations where one person has been taking more than they give, this phrase disrupts the imbalance. It forces reflection and accountability. It says, I am no longer available for your convenience, your excuses, or your half-hearted efforts. This isn't about revenge or retribution. It's about recalibrating the relationship to one of mutual respect and reciprocity. If the other person cannot rise to meet those standards, no more becomes the closing chapter of a relationship that no longer serves you. The power of no more extends beyond personal relationships and into every facet of life. In the workplace, it can mean refusing to accept being overworked and undervalued. In friendships, it can mean stepping away from those who drain your energy without giving back. In family dynamics, it can mean breaking free from patterns of guilt or obligation that stifle your growth. In every context, these words represent a commitment to your own well-being and the recognition that you deserve better. Saying no more is not always easy. It requires self-reflection to recognize when you've been compromising too much, courage to confront the situation, and resilience to stand by your decision. It may be met with resistance, anger, or attempts to manipulate you into backing down. But staying firm in your resolve is a testament to your strength and belief in your worth. It's a reminder that you are not responsible for how others react to your boundaries. You are only responsible for honoring yourself. This act of setting limits can also be incredibly freeing. When you say no more, you free yourself from the burden of tolerating what no longer aligns with your values or serves your growth. You make space for healthier, more fulfilling relationships and opportunities. You reclaim the time and energy that were once spent on things that drained you, redirecting them toward what truly matters. The beauty of no more is that it's not just an ending, it's a beginning. It's the start of a new chapter where you prioritize your needs, values, and happiness. It's a declaration that you will no longer settle for less than what you deserve. And as you practice this in various aspects of your life, you build a sense of confidence and self-assurance that radiates outward, attracting people and opportunities that align with your newfound standards. The power of no more lies in its simplicity and clarity. It doesn't require elaborate explanations or justifications. It doesn't invite debate. It is a statement of fact, a line drawn in the sand, and a promise to yourself that you will honor your worth. These two words can change your life, not because they force others to change, but because they empower you to take control of your own narrative. When you say no more, you are not just setting a boundary, you are reclaiming your power. The true power of no more lies in its ability to transform how you see yourself and how others see you. It's a declaration that you are no longer available for anything less than respect, love, and reciprocity. It sets the tone for how you expect to be treated and creates space for relationships, opportunities, and experiences that align with your worth. These two words are not just about boundaries, they are about liberation, empowerment, and reclaiming the narrative of your life. So when the moment calls for it, let these words flow from a place of confidence and self-love. Speak them with the knowledge that they honor your value and create a path toward the life you truly deserve. Thank you for embracing this journey of self-respect and strength. Your time, attention, and commitment to growth are deeply appreciated.